Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. We'll be with you in about 8 minutes at the start of the game. Good evening and welcome to this evening's volleyball game here at Wellsboro Area High School, where the Wellsboro Lady Hornets are going to take on the Towanda Area High School Black Knights. As we prepare to start this evening's game, we will have Olivia Chilson sing for us the national anthem following Mrs. Peggy Adams' announcement of the PIAA rules for the gym. We do want to remind everyone who should decide to come out to the game that they are expected to wear a mask being inside. And we are glad to have our crowd back, so there's plenty of room if you want to come on down.
Will not be tolerated at our grounds for removal from the site of competition and all other MTL competitions for the remainder of the year. We appreciate your interest.
At this time, we will take a pause for the singing of our national anthem.
Please stand and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem by Olivia Chilson.
Representing Towanda Area High School Black Knights this evening is number 5, Paige Mancester, number 6, Aaliyah Nemo, number 12, Aaliyah Decker, number 30, Addison Maynard, number 15, Bree Overpass, number 38, Athena Chacona, number 21, Shaylee Greenland, number 22, Caitlin Williams, number 25, Gracie Schoonover. Winter Saxer is number 26. 32 is Destiny Brennan. 39 is Laura Davidson. Libero number 9, or also number 40, is Aziz Kalan Ismailov. Sorry, I said that wrong. Ismailova. And Libero 41, or number 8, is Madeline Maynard. For the Wellsboro Area Hornets this year, Libero number 1 is Natalie Cleveland. Number 2 is Olivia Servatius. Number 3 is Emma Owlett. Number 7 is Isabel Andrag. Number 8 is Maddie Bordis. Number 9 is Olivia Chilson. Number 10 is Meredith Brownlee. Number 13 is Brianna Smith. Number 16 is Emily Starkweather. Number 20, Lexi Urena. Number 22, Paige Logsden. And number 28, Grace Hines. The Wellsboro Lady Hornets are coached by Mrs. Sharon Zahusky. This evening's our officials are Gary Swartwood and Chris Decker. You will note that their attire is one of the rule changes for this year for PIAA. As long as the chapter has agreed upon a unified shirt, they can do white. I believe I read they could do gray, or they can do the standard black and white stripe uniform. Each coach here is giving last-minute instructions before the players head to the floor. Wellsboro Hornets defeated Troy in Saturday evening action, and so that raises their overall record to 3-2. Although it is a kind of reboot season, it seems like the Hornets have hit the ground running and are holding their own this year. For those who haven't been here with us, it's a reminder that instead of clapping hands at the beginning of the net, because of COVID regulations per PIAA standards, the ladies will wave to each other and say good luck through the net, but there will be no handshaking. Additionally, each team will stay on the side of the net that they are presently on, so there will not be switching of sides. You will also note the staggered seating of the players. And that is a result also of maintaining the required 3 feet protocol. Players on the benches will be wearing masks, and those in the game are allowed to be maskless. Ball is up. Emma Owlett passes that. It is hit out of the middle by Starkweather. Towanda sets it to the middle. It is off the block of Logston and just out of the reach of Bordas. It is point to Towanda. Madeline Maynard serves to Owlett again. It's a little bit off. You have Cleveland running after it, but she is unable to control it. This time, Chilson handles the ball. It still hangs in the back row and free-balled over by Owlett. Middle hit down the pike to Cleveland. It is handled by Starkweather and sent deep to the back corner by Logston. Wellsboro takes over, and Bordas is back to serve. Her serve goes deep back to the left back. It is set outside, right back to the left outside. Bordas sets beautifully outside. Owlett jumps a wee bit early. Towanda handles it. It's down the middle, dug by Bordas, assisted by Starkweather. Owlett floor spikes it very well with a nice top spin. It is tipped over, and so Wellsboro is trying to handle it. Ooh, a little bit high, which our gym is very high, so that's very high. You're going to see the ball passes back over to Towanda. Gracie Schoonover, who is a junior, serves, but it catches the middle of the tape. Coming into the game for her at this point in time is a defensive specialist in number 30, Addison Maynard, another junior. Emily Starkweather back to serve. Beautiful serve. A little bit of a tip. Bordas passes it up to Chilson. Down the middle goes Logston for the kill as the back right was empty with a setter release a little soon. All tied up here. Starkweather serve a little lower this time, still at the top spin. It is passed to the back row with a back row aggressive spike. Cleveland attempts to handle it. Nice hustle by Starkweather, but Coach Zahusky catches it, and it is Towanda's ball. Shaylee Greenland for Towanda. Serves down right between the number 1 and 2 spot, but even on that miscommunication, there's a miscommunication by Towanda, and the ball finds the floor. Logston back to serve as the libero comes off, and onto the floor comes Grace Hines. Logston serve has very little spin on it. It is overpass, and Emma Owlett is way ready as she pounds it straight down the line and for the point. Beautiful kill on that swing. Logston's second serve. Top spin catches the top of the net, but that is legal. Overpass by Towanda, used by Wellsboro. Hines goes deep middle. It is set to the middle on Towanda. Off the hands of the tip, but Logsden's ready. Oh, and they're going to call Bortis for 2 contacts on that set. Linda Mesner, coach for Towanda, calls for a substitution. Number 26, Winter Saxers, in for number 8, Madeline Maynard. Senior Aaliyah Nimmo is back to serve. Slight twisting ball. Miscommunication in the back row, but it is handled by Wellsboro. Towanda sets it up for a spike down the middle by number 6. Outside set, this time handled, and it was perfect float. Bortis floor spikes it. Towanda passes it up. Outside hit by number 15. Wellsboro's ready. It is set tight. Emma Allett tips it over. It gets the top of the tip, just goes over the block and finds the floor. Coming in for Wellsboro, you have Olivia Servatius, number 2, and number 20, Lexi Urena, excuse me. Seems to be a discussion at the desk, making sure that the lineup is correct. Substitute taking place. Servatius serves, spinning down to the back middle. Towanda sets it. It is pushed over by number 26 as they exchange at the front, handled by Wellsboro, and it is a down the middle pike spike. Well, I guess pike is back row, middle hit, and that is going to be a point and a kill for Wellsboro. Servatius serve this time. Has a little side spin to it. It is tipped over on the second. Servatius has to handle it. It is helped by Urena. Hines rolls it again. Another push to take out the setter, but Servatius is ready. Outside hit by Olivia Chilson, who, even though it's a floor spike, is able to get the top spin, and it hits that middle back and goes out for the point. Servatius goes back, and it's Ismailova who handles that. Free ball by Towanda. Starkweather hits the floor to handle it. It's tight. Olivia Chilson goes up knowing it's coming over, and so even though her hand crossed the height of the net, the attempt was to play it over, so it isn't considered playing the ball early because it was an aggressive move. It is considered a block by Chilson. Did not know she could jump that high. Kudos, Olivia. So tonight, as our in-between conversation starters, because I have to spread this out throughout the season because it's just me, I have some volleyball jargon that is used throughout the game. And so I wanted to give you some statistical information that is said a lot. First of all, on a serve, you might hear the term ace, which is a serve that lands in the opponent's court without being touched, or is touched but unable to be kept in play by one or more receiving players. It isn't just an error on the opponent, it is an actual ball that was unreturnable. So Servatius serves. It is handled by Towanda. It doesn't quite make over the net, though. That would not be considered an ace, but it was a good serve. Servatius serve again. A nice lefty down the middle. Free ball. Starkweather's ready. Servatius sets it, but she's going to have a miscontact there with 2 hits, as you saw it spin out of her hands as her didn't quite set square. Back into the game is number 25, Gracie Schoonover for Towanda. Back to serve is number 5, Paige Manchester. Now, beautiful top spin. Cleveland handles that. It's a little bit outside, so it is free balled over by Wellsboro. Towanda, a little struggle to set that up because of the top spin. So Wellsboro, too, is going to free ball it back over, but it's a little too deep. Now, we talked about this last game, that you try to set the ball deeper or towards the right back in an attempt to get where there's a shift or an exchange going on, or a hole may have developed. Starkweather handles that beautiful pass and a set down the middle hit by Grace Hines. Free ball by number 25, Wellsboro has to handle it. Nice hit by Olivia Chilson. Let me get that right. Servatius passed that, so it would be considered Servatius setting that up with a set coming from the outside position on the help since our setter was out. Into the game will be here, senior Bree Smith, who's normally the libero, but tonight she has gone in as a service specialist, defensive specialist. Overpass by Towanda. Lexi Urena is ready for that and tips it right back down. Smith serve this time. Ooh, low driving and catches the top of the net. Now you'll see Towanda actually putting their hands on their head as the serve, and part of that has to do with taking up space, but at the same time not getting called for being a block with your hands out to the side. Different teams try different strategies that can be seen as strategic. That's theirs this year. So ball is being passed around, set up, a miscommunication between the two hitters. It is passed over. Towanda sets it up, pushed by number 25, Schoonover. Wellsboro sets it up outside for Starkweather, but again, the setter is called for a double hit. It's spinning out of the hands. Now, Gary Swartwood, who is up, is also a referee for club volleyball season, and so he really knows what a set should look like coming out of the hands. And so it's going to be called a little tighter as the gameplay goes tonight. You shouldn't have any spin coming out of your hands as a setter. Cleveland back to serve. Free ball. Cleveland handles that. Servatius this time. See how beautiful that set was. Down the middle by Logston. It is dug by number 5, Paige Manchester, but miscommunication by Towanda, and it's not handled. Another left back serve for Cleveland. Free ball by Towanda. Passed up, set. That was very nearly another double hit, but he let that one go, and outside hitter Starkweather finds the deep left back corner. This time, a much stronger serve, a little deeper, tipped by number 15, who is the setter, and you'll see that Swartwood gave the command for a back row attacker. That means that the setter, who is actually playing in the right back position, jumped above the height of the net to attack the ball. Can't do that. Towanda sets this ball. It is set up, dug by Starkweather, put back over. Oh, nice approach by number 25, Schoonover. Free ball by Wellsboro. Set back outside to Schoonover. This time it's cross court. Starkweather digs it. It's going to be, oh, nice use of that ball by Starkweather. Free ball again by Towanda. Set up by Wellsboro. Middle hit. Logston is blocked, and as a result, it finds the floor. And after that very long volley, we see point to Towanda. Substitution by Mesner as number 8. Madeline Maynard comes back into the game to serve for number 26, Winter Sexer. Top spin serve to Cleveland. It went just a little short, but Servatius was able to use it well. This time she sets outside to Starkweather, but it is dug by Towanda. Schoonover hits out of the middle this time. Hustle by Wellsboro, and on the 4th hit, it hits the floor. It was a sweet hustle by Cleveland, that one-handed swing to try to get the ball up high for one more playable hit, but it was just a bit short of where the players were. Pass by Cleveland. Middle hit Starkweather, handled by number 5. Set to the middle, tipped by Schoonover. Urena helps Servatius out. Outside hit by Starkweather. Set up to the middle to Schoonover again. Down the middle, and it finds the floor just out of the fingertips of Natalie Cleveland. Maynard serves again. This time, we're going to have a free ball by Wellsboro. It goes a little bit too deep, and so Coach Zahuski is trying to get the girls to settle down a bit as there is a little bit of a run by Towanda right now. Urena with a pass to Servatius. Middle set. It is blocked, though, by Schoonover, and point to Towanda. Coach Zahuski is going to take a timeout right now, trying to settle the girls with the score of Wellsboro 16, Towanda 14. So back to our terminology, as we were talking about an ace, the same thing goes for a kill. And now a kill is going to give you the exact according to Wikipedia. Yes, I did say Wikipedia. Kill is a successful legal point scoring play. It can be from a spike, attack, tip, or dump. Now, what in the world does that mean? A spike, of course, is the approach, 3 or 4 step approach with a swing overhanded. It could be a floor spike where they don't jump, or it could be an actual jump. A tip is an open fingered touch. A dump might be something where the setter sets it just over the hands of the block. Handled by Cleveland, free ball by Servatius. Get it to the setter, so it messes up the play of Towanda. It is just over by Servatius and tipped back over by number 21, Shaylee Greenland. Only sophomore here on the varsity for Towanda. Point to Towanda as they narrow the margin to 1. Cleveland passes the ball high. Servatius uses it by getting it to Urena. Still a little behind that 10-foot line, and so she free balls it. Towanda sets it up. Starkweather transitions off the net, but it results still in a free ball by Wellsboro. There's a free ball by Towanda. Cleveland has a pass to Servatius. Approach by Starkweather that results in a eventual point due to a hitting error by Towanda. Emma Owlett's coming back into the game for Servatius. And Maddie Bordas is in for Lexi Urena. If you notice, Wellsboro's playing what we call a 6-2 with the setter coming out of the back right side. As they work their way across, you will always see them releasing to the right side. Overpass. Oh, my goodness gracious. She was ready for that one. Well done, Logsden. Sweet. Woo! She was so ready for that. She went up and straight down it went. Bordas, beautiful serve. Towanda free balls it over. Smith is ready. Outside set, but this time it is spinning. It was, they call it 2 hits, but it's more of a lift or a carry on that has this top spin, and it's a mishandled ball. Number 30, Addison Maynard back in for number 25, Gracie Schoonover. So we've got 2 Maynards here. Madeline Maynard, number 8, and Addison Maynard, number 30. Bree Smith passes the ball up to Emma Owlett, who uses it. Starkweather pushes it over. Towanda sets it up. Number 5 hits it down the middle, but Cleveland's ready. The ball goes over the net for another play. Logsden's there to stop or deny number 5. 21 tips it over, keeps her hold. Logsden down the middle, and this time number 30, Addison Maynard can't handle that hit. Logsden is on fire tonight. That is kind of crazy. Wild hitting. I love it. Love it. Starkweather serves down the line. Outside to number 5, Paige Manchester, who really had a couple of nice hits that last volley. And it results in a point for Wellsboro. This time Starkweather serve again to the left back. Number 15 sets it. It is a tip or a push by number 5. Outside set, beautiful set Emma Owlett goes down the line, and it's just off the hands of number 15, Bree Overpeck, for a point for Wellsboro, 21-16. Mesner calls for a substitute. Number 22, Caitlin Williams, is in for number 6, Aaliyah Nemo. Starkweather, the toss was a little off, but she used it and was able to get it over to that left back. Tip just over the block. Chilson puts her arm out and is able to save it. But as Towanda tries to set it up, that time, even though it looked like it went over the net, it went outside the antenna, and therefore it is considered out of bounds. Starkweather this time slides over a bit and goes down to Ismailova. Outside tip again. Owlett dives. Chilson helps. Logston is there and hits the block, and it falls in front. Tawanda's block was just a wee bit off the net, and as a result, when they pressed, they actually pressed. Instead of over the net, it went in front of them. Starkweather goes back to that left back again, and it results in a point. That is actually an ace. Again, she's moved over to the service in the back middle. Hits that left back. Bordas handles the overpass. Logston is ready for Chilson's assist, and it hits the left back corner and gives the first set to Wellsboro. And Logston's super excited because that would be a kill for her and an assist to Chilson. Wellsboro's doing a slightly different lineup this evening, and as a result, we're seeing some different players highlighted, and that's the nice thing about building a young team is growing and developing them and trying to do some new things so that as the season progresses, you have different options as games go by. All right, let's go back to some of these. Earlier there was a serve, and I said, that's a let serve, L-E-T. That means it's a serve in which the ball hits the net on the side of the court of the serve, but it still makes it over the net and into the opposing side's floor. If it actually hits the floor, it's considered the let. But it used to be a service error prior to 2001, but in an effort to speed up the game, they changed that and made it so that it was a usable ball. Now, I also talk about the overpass. The overpass is a mistake by an offensive player where they are trying to get it to the setter or a hitter, and they accidentally get it to cross the plane of the net, and someone in the front line who's usually prepared to do the blocking becomes instantly a hitter, as Logston did, and slammed it right straight down. It's a sweet thing when you see it take place. Sometimes the ball gets really big and the player swings and misses, and then everybody kind of chuckles. But when it pulls off, it is a very sweet play. Let's see. What else do we have here? A joust. We'll hear sometimes that there is a joust at the net, and that's when the ball is so tight that both players from each team goes up and they each have a hand on the ball, and they're pushing back and forth between the two, and where the ball lands is who the winner of the joust. The other team would be the winner of the joust. But these are some of the terms that come out. We call things a tip. Back in the 80s, the tip used to be called a dink. We don't call it that anymore. The term has evolved. In fact, they also have today what is called a power tip, which looks like sometimes somebody throwing the ball to the floor as they go up with almost a setter's perspective, but then they put one hand and they swing it down and slice it down, and it powers the ball to the floor. It's on the edge of a carry, but your hand has to be on top of the ball when it happens. Wellsboro's back to serve. Bordas starts right in the deep middle back, causing Towanda to have to free ball it. Cleveland gets the ball perfectly to Bordas, who sets up Logston. It is down the middle, overpassed, and Starkweather goes up to hit the ball, and it goes just outside the line. I'm not quite sure what the theme of our student body is tonight, because it looks like we've got some that look like golfers, we've got some that look like cowboys, but they all seem to be like in some semblance of khaki and dress shirt. I don't know. I'll have to find out what that is. Wellsboro passes up the ball. It is free balled over. And then nice block. It is free balled over again and saved by Towanda. Wellsboro scrambles and picks it up. See if Towanda can set it up. Number 5 swings out of the middle. Bordas is low and ready to handle it. And as Bordas goes to handle it, number 8 takes it to the line, trying to see if it's going to be in. At the last second, she determines it's in, touches the ball, and it is Wellsboro's point. Starkweather serve is low. Oh, my goodness. What a sweet thing. That is an ace. It barely crossed the height of the net and just dove to the floor after it crossed what we call the tape. This time down to the right back. Starkweather's serve ends up with a little bit of trouble by Towanda. Starkweather passes it. Oh, an overpass. It's an overpass by Wellsboro that actually sets out of bounds. Now, on the corner of each line, there is a Wellsboro JV player. No longer are they splitting duties there, and that's PIAA ruling. But they do have flags that they're supposed to use and make a call on every play. Towanda sets up the ball to number 5. Oh, dear. Oh, my. So what ends up happening there is you had a hit by number 5. On the block, it appeared that Wellsboro swung their arms up and hit the tape, but it knocked it into number 5, and she was called in the net. Sometimes that's what happens. Pegs Logston passes or serves the ball. Oh, man, what a beautiful cut by Grace Hines, but it's just out of bounds. Back into the game is Cleveland for Logston. Starkweather goes to handle that, but it's a mishandling of that as she swung her arms in what I would call a swizzle stick, but that's just my word. It's not really technically a volleyball turn. And it went out of bounds. Coach Warner just said something, and Starkweather laughed and said, I know. All right, Wellsboro passes that ball right where it needs to be. Bordas sets up Emma Owlett. Emma has a nice cross court. Towanda handles it, and they are saying that it never crossed the plane of the net, so it's 4 hits, that Wellsboro never touched the ball, so thus 4 hits. Olivia Servatius back into the game for Owlett, and out comes Bordas as Lexi Urena comes in. Oh, no. And Servatius gets a little too high on top of that ball, and so it is Towanda's ball. In for Towanda is Gracie Schoonover for number 30, Addison Maynard. Paige Manchester serves this time. It is a beautiful top spin serve, but Starkweather handles it. Servatius puts it over. Towanda sets up Schoonover on the outside, dug by Brownlee. Set back up to Schoonover, and this time just out of the reach of Cleveland. Another beautiful top spin serve. Pass to number 21, but it's set a little tight, so Schoonover couldn't use it, and it ends up being Wellsboro's ball. It appears that Towanda also is playing a 6-2 here, so their setter's coming out of the right back as well. Brownlee serve, low float serve. And you see Wellsboro taking it to the line and calling out and letting it hit the floor. Brownlee back to serve again. Another low serve. That is an ace as it just dives coming across the net. And so you don't see it here as much as they do, but it is definitely moving because it doesn't have any top spin to it. That one has a little more spin, and therefore it's handled a little bit easier, even though it didn't look easy. Wellsboro handles it high, sending it deep. 21 sets it outside to Schoonover. Schoonover's a touch early on that approach and is hitting on the way down, thus causing it to go out of bounds. Brownlee's serving is strong this evening. She goes cross court this time, taking out the setter. And it is a mishit on the set, and so that is considered 2 contacts, and you will have Brownlee back to serve again. Tipped over by Towanda. Cleveland handles it. Oh, you saw that spin, and you knew it was going to be called a double contact. Back into the game comes Bree Smith for Brownlee. Bree Overpack back to serve. She's a junior. Real deep, nice top spin, and it dives just after the 10-foot line. Wellsboro tips it over. Number 15 sets it outside to Schoonover, but her swing is just a touch soon again and ends up hitting the bottom of the net. Excuse me, touch late that time. As Wellsboro transitions around, you'll see that Cleveland goes back to serve as the libero, and into the game comes Logsden, who had been out for her. Now recognize there are a few rule changes in the last 5 years that you don't normally see. So yes, a player can in fact kick the ball in an effort to keep the ball alive. Just so you know, any part of the body is legal to use. You just have to watch contacts. On a hard-driven spike, on a hard-driven spike or serve, a double contact can occur as long as it's not lifted. Kind of almost anything goes if you can get your hands on it. But after that, they're real picky on what it looks like. Nice volley back and forth by both teams. Set up by Wellsboro, down the middle by Logsden. Free ball by Towanda. Cleveland sets it up. It is a middle set. Roll shot by Logsden. Set up to the outside, set to Starkweather. Handled by Towanda. Outside hit by number 6, dug by Cleveland, but it goes over. Towanda does it again. This time number 6 goes shorter, but Starkweather's ready. Logsden down the middle and gets the point. Very long volley, but patience prevails at this point in time as Emma Owlett comes back in the game and Maddie Bordis goes back to serve. Wellsboro's up 11-8 with 1 set under their belt. It's a little warm in here tonight. Bordis serves to the right back, and the front row wasn't quite ready and therefore weren't able or ready to assist. That serve was fierce. It came just over the net and dove to the floor. Again, they were not ready, and the ball hit the floor. Mesner calls her first time out of the evening and is explaining to the ladies what needs to happen and whose responsibility it is to take each position. You'll see Darcy Warner down there talking with Peg Logsden. She is assisting the team this year again. It's nice to have her experience, former high school player here and a player at Penn was she Penn College? Lycoming College, I think. I think she was a Lancer. I'll have to double check that. But it's nice to see her in the gym. Also in the gym this evening, we see Coach McKnight. Nice to see you back. I know you've been enjoying retirement and traveling a lot now that we're a little bit less restricted. But it's nice to see you here. Wellsboro serves. Bordis, float serve this time. Goes to the middle back. Set up by Towanda. Down the line by number 6, Aaliyah Nimmo, and it results in a kill or a point to Towanda. Addison Maynard back into the game to serve. Wellsboro communicating and getting ready to receive this pass. A little bit of an under or backspin on that. Set by Wellsboro. It is considered never over in 4 hits, so they're saying Logsdon hit the top of the tape and it never went over. Now, what it might happen is that when the ball hits the net, it sometimes looks like the ball goes, or the hands actually did touch it, but it's actually the net into the hands of the blocker. That is not counted as a net hit. Smith passes that to Bordas. Incredible set. And Owlett, it was a little early on it. She's coming down and it lofts on her. Score is 13-11. Addison Maynard serves again. Down the middle, float serve, but Bree Smith, usually libero, was ready. Logsdon tips that over legally. She cupped that hand. And out of the middle is number 5, Manchester, but it just goes a touch long, and it's Wellsboro's ball. As the rotation goes, Meredith Brownlee back in for front row, and Starkweather's serve goes to middle back. Starkweather's been having a serving game. Oh, my goodness gracious, what an incredible hit. Oh, my. Emma Owlett did an incredible job of digging that ball, but there's a miscommunication in the back row, and the ball hits the floor. Oh, nothing more heartbreaking than to take a hard hit like that. That was an incredible swing by Manchester. Now, you may know some USA Volleyball. In USA Volleyball, you can come around the pole and play that back into your court if it's the second, and then put it back over the net, and it's legal. But here in PIAA ball, that is not legal, and so therefore it's considered a dead ball. Free ball by Wellsboro. 21 sets it. Well, I should say passes it. Setting it up in the middle is number 5, Manchester. It goes again a bit long. She knew she hit it just a little bit too much oomph. Cleveland's out as Hines comes back in. And Logsdon's back to serve. A deep float. And it is tipped. Hines comes down ready to play it. Set, but it is a definite carry with 2 there as that spin comes out of the hand. A little too much finger on that. It settled down in just a little too much. Winter Saxer is coming into the game as Aaliyah Nimmo goes back to serve. Hers goes to Cleveland. Cleveland lunges for it, but it ends up being Towanda's ball. Natalie Cleveland's a sophomore. This is her first start, I believe, of the season in the libero position. Close, another close set there that potentially could have been considered a double contact, but it floated just enough and it hits the net. This time, Coach Zahusky calls the timeout with the score being 15-16. Remember, no matter who wins this next game, we will play a best of 3 out of 5 with the first 4 going to 25 and the last one to 15 should it be needed. I have said the word mishit tonight, and a mishit is a hit in which a player swings but does not contact the ball as intended, and it gives it a different speed, direction, or spin than the player intended. Sometimes it still is playable when it's done. Sometimes it results in the ball being an error, and just like you have an error in baseball and in some other sports, it's recognized as something that needed to be corrected and wasn't. So each team has taken 1 timeout here this set. Emma Owlett passes that up to Bordas. Beautiful set. Owlett recognizing that's not her strong side. It has a sweet jump and a beautiful approach and hits down cross court, controlling that ball and resulting in the point. Still, she makes jumping look so easy. Servatius serves to the right back. Towanda sets that over. Starkweather's ready. Servatius goes for the pass over the head. Urena has to free ball it. It is overpassed, and Brownlee is ready as the pass is attempted over, and she blocks it right back, causing a very quick return, and Towanda wasn't ready. do want to point out Brownlee's only a sophomore. She's been a nice addition to the team this year. Float serve by Servatius causes an overpass into the net. You could almost call that an ace because that serve is so hard to handle. Serve to the right back. Outside set to number 26. Starkweather handles it. It is a hit tip by the middle. Set up and free balled by Towanda. Starkweather handles it again. Servatius puts it in her hands. Brownlee approaches. Beautiful protection by Starkweather, who is able to protect. We'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, man, so close. Now, if you notice that second hit, they kind of let the first one go because I said almost anything goes on a nice hard hit. The second one, they're much more picky, and because it was prolonged contact on that second pass, they call it a lift, and that's what that motion was. Manchester serve, top spin to Starkweather. It's an overpass. Brownlee's ready, protecting the block. Switch at the net. Cleveland handles it. Outside set, push by Brownlee. Transition back, but it's picked up by Starkweather. Miscommunication between Hines and Urena. Ball hits the floor. Wellsboro communicates right after it about who should get it. It is 18-18. Top spin. Starkweather passes high. Servatius gets there. Outside hit by Urena. It tags the outside of the line, still making it in, and therefore it is a point. Captain over there on Towanda challenged the call, and the referee, the umpire, said, no, I made that call. I saw that line. So Towanda passes up that serve. It goes over. Hines goes up. It goes just off the fingertips of Towanda and finds the floor. Now you hear me saying that there's protection. Whenever you have a hitter or setter, it's kind of like watching a dance. You have players who come around low and are in a low stance to protect just for those situations when it just hits those hands. So watch for it. Wellsboro sets up the ball. Middle hit down the line by Hines, and it is a point for Wellsboro. So although it was tied up at 18-18, Wellsboro has taken the lead to 21-18, and Linda Mesner is going to call her second time out of this game. Now back to that, I wish I could have a TV here and be like Bob Costa and draw on it and show you the protection. But when your spiker goes up to spike, you should see everyone collapsing around her so that if there's a block, they're able to protect or defend and pick that ball back up and then transition where they move quickly back to their spots to then set the ball and continue the play. Same thing happens on a block where you will see one. If you see a double block, usually you see one person protecting. If you see a single block, you may see two people protecting. So as the block goes up, you have somebody low so that if that ball touches the block and rolls over, they are there to try to pick it up quickly so the blocker doesn't come down and swing at it. Instincts are sometimes hard. Brownlee's serve is low. Hines is ready for that overpass and spikes it right back. Point for Wellsboro. Beautiful play by Hines. Brownlee serve again. Line drive as it goes over the net, and Nimmo struggles to handle it. She's going to come out of the game. Defensive specialist libero Aziskilion Ismailova is into the game. This time it's a float. Put it in the hands. Cleveland passes it to Servatius. They're saying that time it went over. However, it was played twice as it came off the net. Nice service by Brownlee. Into the game comes Smith. Free overpack serve. Top spin. Starkweather is ready. Passes it high. Gets it right back from Servatius. See that protection. Oh, man. And the problem was with that is although you had that beautiful dig, quick swing over the head, you saw the hands shift from right to left, and it is considered a carry. Score is 23-20. Cleveland, perfect pass, perfect set. Oh, and she's hitting on the way down because she was a little early on that approach. As you watch the approach of your hitters, usually you will have a 3-step or a 4-step approach, kind of like a layup in basketball. If someone's foul-footed, it means they're going off the wrong foot when they go, and usually their hips or shoulders end up twisted as an end result. That time, Wellsboro tries to go down the line, and it just barely crosses the net, and the player was ready and went right straight down the line on Wellsboro, finding the hole deep. So this time, Zahuski's going to take the timeout as the score is 23-22, making this a 1-point game. You must win by 2, and therefore trying to win this set. Oh, let's see. Now, I was reading online today. I was trying to come up with things to talk about. And one of the discussion boards that was out there talked about which position's the hardest to play, and each one in its own right has its challenges. And so there isn't any one position that's harder than another. Recognize that each has a different skill set that is necessary, and they all have to work together to be successful. Deep pass goes to Cleveland. Cleveland's ball goes straight up. Servatius chases after it, but the ball hits the floor, tying the game up at 23. Bree Overpeck is on a service roll at this point in time as she serves deep. Cleveland again, a little short. Servatius scrambles. It is assisted by Starkweather. Outside set 2. Number 25. It is quickly pushed over by Servatius. This time they're calling setter 26 for 2 hits. Or whoever did the assist. Maybe it was Schoonover. I actually missed who had handled that second ball. But it did twist. He's been very consistent on that call. Cleveland serves very low and hard over the net. Scramble by Towanda picked up. It is passed. Roll shot by Logston to the hole. Scramble by Towanda. Point to Wellsboro, and that results in set 25-23. Very close set there between these two teams, and you could hear both teams getting into it with clapping and screaming and shouting. So an enjoyable set there for that one. As I said, I'm not even playing, and I think it's warm in here. So where are we at here as far as things to say? Wellsboro's back in action, I believe, Wednesday, right back here. We will be with you. I do not know. I'll have to look up here who they're playing. But a couple of things that I wanted to point out. We talk about things like strong side and weak side. If you have a right-handed hitter, the strong side is what we call the left side of the court because they are right-handed and it's on the inside. So the ball does not have to cross your body in order to hit it. However, if you are left-handed, you would want to place your left-handed hitter on the what we call the weak side of the court because that would be their strong side. Because again, their left hand would be on the inside of the court and they wouldn't have to pass across their body. You can chase the ball a little better and have all the different angles of down the line, cross, hard cross, you name it. So, let's see. On serve receive, as people are serving the ball, you'll see a number of different teams serve receive in a number of different ways. You might see a 3-man serve receive, and we say man meaning men or women. You might see a 3-person or a 4-person serve receive. You might see everybody back. Usually you try to protect your setters so they're not taking a serve. Some teams do things slightly different where if they'll pass to the spot every single time and everybody knows that that's where that setter's going to go. Others will say, well, we know if our setter's going to be in the left front, first pass goes to the left front, and then it goes to that right front position in between the right front hitter and the middle hitter. We'll have some terminologies to see if people know what some unusual terms in volleyball mean here during our next timeout. And we are getting set to come back into the game. A slightly different lineup this time. Bree Smith is starting in the game. Otherwise, I think everybody else is about the same. Towanda has number 8 back to serve in Madeline Maynard, and we are back to play. Short pass is handled and free balled over. So Towanda freeze balls it over. They pass it over. Wellsboro tips it over. This time 15 passes it, sets it. It is a push down the line by number 21. Wellsboro goes to handle it. Emma Owlett goes to set that in an attempt to keep it off the net, but Starkweather has to tip it. It results in a scramble. Towanda works a little to set it up. There we go with Emma Owlett setting cross court. And the shot goes just over the hands of Starkweather, and Cleveland dives for it, but it goes out of bounds. So Towanda gets the first point, and I think they've done that in all 3 sets. Maynard's serve goes to Smith, who struggles a little bit with it. And you'll notice that she took that in her hands and it went right straight up. That is legal. It wasn't a carry. It was actually mostly fingertips. She could have actually even had it hit her palms. You could see sometimes where they link their thumbs and push it high. This time they go short. She dives. Bortis is able to get it. Logston does a rolling shot. It is tight. Logston goes up for the block, doesn't quite get it. And that is actually one of the players from Towanda hit the net. It looks like number 15 goes, yeah, I did. So she attempted to try not to, but it turns out she jumped, actually. They called her a back row hitter. She did it again. Outside, number 6 hits to the back middle. Cleveland hits it off her arms sideways, but Bortis, that point goes completely to Bortis as she went tearing off the floor to bring it back to be used. Bortis' serve this time, low driving. Number 6 handles it. 15 sets her back up. Cross court, Emma Owlett goes to set it up, but her hands were just a little bit too soft, and as a result, it is too low to handle. Addison Maynard is in. Number 30 for Towanda. She serves. Her hand came a little under the ball, giving it a backspin. Owlett is ready that time for that set and hits cross court. Down the middle, you have number 5, Manchester, who twists in the air and takes it to the right back, and it is a point. Nice kill. Probably one of the biggest leads they've had this evening. Wellsboro goes to pass it up. It's a little askew. Roll shot by Owlett down the line. Middle hit. I thought it was outside. Beautiful diving dig by Smith. Owlett goes to go down the line because it was open, but she cuts it just a little too much, and it ends up out of bounds. A float serve this time to Cleveland. Sets exactly where Bortis is. Starkweather hits that over. Number 6 hits that up. Dug by Cleveland. Logston rolls it and tries to find the campfire, but it is protected. Owlett is there. Logston tips it over. It is deep this time and out of bounds. Starkweather's going back to serve. Brownlee's coming into the game for Bree Smith. Down that deep left back corner. Towanda struggles a little bit. Brownlee helps Bortis, who is trying to, who got taken out by the tip. But Brownlee's set goes a little too far outside, and so Owlett tries to save it. He doesn't quite make it. Shaylee Greenland's serve goes to Cleveland, who gets it exactly to where Bortis is setting. And Brownlee was ready. You saw that beautiful approach. She was so on it, and it finds the seam in between the block and hits the floor. Hines in for Cleveland at number 28. Logston serve, top spinning serve. Nice hustle by number 30. They take out Bortis. An overpass, and number 5 in Manchester is waiting for it, and this time they kind of give it back to Wellsboro, which Wellsboro's done a couple of times. Winter Saxer is back into the game. And Aaliyah Nimmo is back to serve. She's had a nice game this evening. Serve to Emma Allett. Bortis is ready, but she does the floor spike, so her hand is not above the net. However, she has to recognize she can't quite swing that hard because she's below the height of the net. All right, another, oh my goodness gracious. Another low driving serve. Finds the floor as Cleveland was a little deep on that. So you feel a little different feel here, vibe in the gym as the score is 4-9 Towanda. So Coach Zahusky takes the timeout, makes some adjustments to get them prepared. In the meantime, if I was to tell you that there is a pancake in volleyball, what would it be? Give you a moment to think about that. Do, 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 do. Won't sing too much because I don't want any copyright issues. Okay, a pancake in volleyball is where a player dives forward, putting their outstretched hand between the floor and the ball actually plays off of it. It's called a pancake. It's a defensive play usually done when you're doing a double block and your players might be a little deeper trying to protect around a block as they're having to cover a little more ground. So there's your little trivia fact for the night. There is pancake in volleyball. Number 6 serves to Cleveland. Bortis brings it back. It's an overpass, but Brownlee recognizes it, goes up with a, and it is hit by Towanda to that left back, and there is no one home. Number 6 is serve. Allett handles it. Brownlee goes to help. Hines catches the top of the net this time. Nimmo's serve. Cleveland reaches again. She's got to move those feet. Reaches again, and as a result, it goes out to the referee stand. Oh no, that is a rotation error. Coach Zahusky called for the girls to switch, but the whistle had blown and they still tried the switch, and as a result, it results in a point. This time you have a serve. You have use by Wellsboro. There's a pass, there's a set, there's a tip. Brownlee comes off the net. There is 4 hits because there were 2 contacts between the 2 girls. It hit off one arm, hit off the other arm, and then ended up coming over. So they're calling it 4. Coach Zahusky calls her second timeout. Score is 4-14. You can see the little bit of frantic play there, and she's trying to settle them down and say, okay, let's talk and communicate and get this right. So they are moving this game along quickly, which is what they're supposed to do with the game of volleyball. Gone are the days of very slow, methodical, taking your time. Everything's timed and everything's supposed to be moved quickly. They even discussed that before the game, I was told, about the transitions. Coach Zahusky is out of timeouts. Coming into the game is Olivia Chilson for Logston. So they're giving the libero a break here. Nimmo's serve goes right to the new player, which is what you're supposed to do. Emma Allett goes to set it. It's down the line deep on a pass. Number 5 is going to hit it. Hines comes down and starts swinging at it, but her protection was there. But you can see Wellsboro's a little rattled, and so they're not communicating really well right now. All right, Bordas handles that. Owlett takes the first set. Hines goes to hit it, and her attempted floor spike hits the top of the tape. Score is 16-4. Towanda. Another driving serve. Starkweather gets it to Emma. Brownlee's beautiful approach. They said she hit the net. And it is number 10. Yes, they said that Brownlee's hand hit the net on the follow-through. This time, Chilson takes it. Outside set goes a little too far by Owlett, and it can't be brought back in by Hines. Serve by Chilson, overpass. You saw that Brownlee was low. That's that protection as Owlett went up trying to be prepared, and that's what happened. So coming into the game, we have number 7, Isabel Endreg, to give Emma a little breather as they've set it up so that they are almost running a modified 4-2 here with the setter out of the front. So you see them passing directly to her. She is a setter. Hines goes to tip it down the line, but instead it goes out of bounds. Bordas is trying to help Endreg. There is an overpass. Oh, good heavens. It was the right idea had it landed in bounds. Overpass by Starkweather. That back right corner was wide open, but no one, it lands just outside of bounds. Chilson's pass goes a little short. There is a hustle, and the ball falls just short of the net. Score is 22-4. The Huskies out of timeouts, and she's been trying to use some substitutions to break this serve. Starkweather's pass pretty. Endreg tips it over. Cross court, dug by Starkweather. Tip down the line by Starkweather. Cross court, pass by Starkweather, set by Bordas. Hines goes up to tip, but she hits it into the top of the tape. Pass by Starkweather, perfect to Endreg, to Brownlee, who goes down the line for the kill, and it breaks this service run. But the score is 5-23. Hornets are going to need a service run of their own to stay in this set. Back to serve is Endreg. Urena is in for Bordas. Short serve hits the top of the tape and falls to the 10-foot line. You can see that Towanda's doing the 3-person serve receive, as I said, and because they recognize the short serve, they're way short now. Another short serve. It is passed over. Urena is ready. Called for help. Hines takes that pass, and the linesperson flips her flag down and says it is in. Endreg's back to serve again. Another, too short serve this time. And it is set point to Towanda. Schoonover's back in on that outside hidden position as Addison Maynard comes out. Manchester serve. Lofts to Chilson. Endreg sets it up. Urena tips it over. It is taken by Towanda. They tip it over. Endreg sets it back outside. Nice hands. And Brownlee's spike goes just long, and so we are going to a 4th set here this evening as this 3rd set ended in a score of 7-25, favoring Towanda. I should have brought some water. All right. So being that this is a 4-set, normally and traditionally you would see at the end of every set, each team would switch sides. And in doing so, then you get the differences of whatever is hanging from the ceiling to deal with, and air patterns and currents. But like I said, with COVID protocol still in place here for gameplay, they try to minimize how much contact is going on. And so each team stays on their assigned side from the beginning of the set. Oh, let's see. Other kinds of things. If I was to tell you there is a slide in volleyball, this used to be one of my favorite plays to teach, especially a solid middle hitter and a setter that just were able to connect well. Anybody know what a slide is? In volleyball, a slide is where a middle hitter slides to the right side of the hit off a short back set. We haven't seen a lot of short, quick sets, what we call a quick set, which is a set that is about 1 to 3 feet high above the net, as your middle hitter is actually approaching the setter to hit the ball as the ball is coming quickly out of the hands of the player. We haven't seen a whole lot of that this season. But when you had someone who could run a nice quick set to the front, it was always nice to be able to do a slide where you could do a slide right behind so that setter would do a quick back set and it throws off your blocker. If you have a good blocking team, it's a nice strategy to have. You could also have a far slide where your hitter goes way to the weak side and does kind of like a layup and comes across. And then that's always fun when you have the weak side hitter come in behind and do what they call an X. And they do the quick slide. First serve by Wellsboro goes long, and so Towanda gets that first point, and right away they rotate and take the point. See if Wellsboro can settle their nerves and get back to play. Serve right to the middle back. Bree Smith is ready. Sets a little bit outside, but Owlett uses it, cuts hard cross court, and it catches the line. Madeline Maynard actually thought it was out, took it to the line and stopped with her foot, and then it fell right in front. You could see that she was like, man, I thought it was out. Starkweather serve goes down the line to Maynard. It goes back to Maynard, who floor spikes it. Starkweather digs that. Outside set, nice and high to Owlett, who does that same hard cross, but this time Nimmo's ready. Nimmo does a high, lofty spike, but it is handled by Bordas. Wellsboro does the cross hit, this time to middle back, and Towanda tips it, but Wellsboro quickly puts it over. Thinking she was closer to the net and looking to hit it out of the net, number 15, Bree Overpeck, turns waiting for it, and it's not there. Wellsboro's ball, 2-1. Starkweather goes down the middle. It was short, but Towanda's ready. Nice transition off the net by Owlett to take it. Logsdon does her tip backwards. She's done that 3 times now, but this time Manchester was ready for it. She seems to be a quick study. Manchester is to recognize, oh, that's what she's going to do, and I'm going to wait my block and hit it back, and she did. Starkweather passes that to the proper spot. It is back to Logsdon, who says, not again, and she puts that ball to the floor. Logsdon is a freshman. I want to point that out. And as a coach, you drool when you have a freshman who can hit the ball that hard. Towanda sets up the ball. Number 15 hits the deep cross, but it's just long, no touch at the net. And therefore, it is Wellsboro's ball again. Towanda passes that around. A little miscommunication. It is not quite over as a result by Wellsboro. Chilson's coming into the game, this time for Hines. Back to serve is Nimmo, and into the game for Logsdon is Cleveland. This is where Nimmo ran a lot of points last set. We have a quick substitution by Winter Saxer for Towanda. Emma Allett moves back for that. Brownlee helps Emma. There's a little net play. Brownlee's ready. Chilson's playing middle in the front. She puts it right back over as a block. Again, protection by Emma Allett, who transitions off. Floor spike. Chilson staying low to protect her spiker. You have the down the deep line. This time, the attempt in the location was the right idea, but just a little under the ball. Servatius is coming into the game for Owlett, and Urena is in for Bordas. No. Yes. I'm like, they're out of order. Sorry. I was like, no. All right. Servatius serves down the line. Free ball by Towanda. Set to the middle. Chilson's down the middle. Spike handled by Towanda. It is a point to Wellsboro with a hitting error there by Towanda. Servatius served to the right back this time. Over serve. Chilson goes up for the pass. Oh, and he called this time that it hadn't cleared the net, and so therefore it is called that she is over the net and does not let the other team touch it because it has to cross the plane if it's before the third hit, and it didn't quite cross that plane. Manchester serve is low. That would be a let serve. That caught the top of the net and hits the floor. So not only is it an ace, but it's also a let serve. But unlike the game of tennis, this gives a point. Fabulous pass by Starkweather on that serve. Set up and pass to the weak side where Brownlee was waiting. You see Wellsboro switching, but Towanda can't quite get themselves set, and so it is Wellsboro's point, 7-5. Brownlee's going back to serve. Oh, my goodness. Another serve that catches the top of the tape. This time Towanda's ready. They switch. You see Wellsboro ready. Protection to Starkweather, who hits the cross court and finds the floor in that left back side. Well executed play. Brownlee serve. Again, low driving. It is tipped over by Towanda, handled by Brownlee. Servatius sets. Starkweather's ready. It is dug. You have Manchester who pushes it over. You hear Wellsboro calling that. Tip by Urena. Outside hit by number 26, dug by Cleveland. Set to Starkweather, who takes a little off, but Ismailova is going to dig that ball, but the setter is called for a double contact by Towanda. Point to Wellsboro. Driving serve again by Brownlee. It hits. Very nice aggressive play by Bree Overpeck to try to actually twist that back up sharply off the net, but it is not able to be handled by Towanda. A nice hard driving serve again by Brownlee's. Back row set by number 5 Manchester. Now, that would be what we call a pike, where that was an intentional set to the back middle, and as she comes down, that is the pike position. A low set. Chilson goes up trying to spike it, but she misses. Servatius was behind her trying to pick it up, but it was a little low, and so it results in Towanda's ball. Score is 11-6 Wellsboro. Another low serve. The service game here has picked up, and with the service game picking up, you see that the passing has to be addressed quickly. This time serve deep middle back. Servatius is ready. Starkweather has a beautiful approach, jumps up, hits the deep middle back. push shot by number 25 Schoonover. Bree Smith handles it. That time it's a double hit out of the hands of Servatius. It just spun a little too much. Overpeck serve. Bree Smith handles beautifully. Servatius arm passes it. Dug by Servatius, who trips over Cleveland, and so the ball finds the floor. Overpeck's moving that ball around on her serve. Overpeck serves deep down the line. Starkweather passes it. It's right back to her tip, but it hits the antenna. Point to Towanda. We have a 1-point ball game here. Hard driving serve. I would have called that long. It was. Nope, he overruled it and said that it was in. It is 11-11. Starkweather just slightly off her arms, going deep there for Cleveland. Tip or push by 25 Schoonover. Servatius sets that. Starkweather goes up. Beautiful swing, but it just goes long on her. Time out by Coach the Husky as the score is now 11-12, and it seems that we're caught in a little bit of a serve-receive issue here this evening. That's what sometimes you'll see happening, is that what had been working well all of a sudden gets a little shaky when you have a set that goes like set 3, where you just end up in a serve-receive situation, and then if you start questioning yourself in the future. So coach is going to probably talk to them, get their confidence back, make a couple of adjustments, and then proceed with this game. As they check the lineup here, I was just reading my notes and I actually learned a new term, and maybe I will share some of these, because I was like, really? There's things like a phone booth, a pancake, lake, a party ball. I'm like, what is this? So we'll talk about this in just a few minutes. It appears that there is a rotation problem here on Wellsboro, which is what one of the delays was. And so therefore, the ball is automatic point, and now they will set up on something like that. The captain of the floor does have the right to approach the referee, and in approaching the referee, they can say, we need a lineup check. Can you set us up? Here is a 4-man serve receive that you're seeing right there. Cleveland passes directly to Servatius, who has an incredible passing set to Starkweather and finds the floor right down the line. Sometimes you just need that player who gets a little mad about stuff and is able to find the floor. Chilson goes to serve. Low driving, twisting serve. It is mishandled by Towanda, and it ends up in a point. Tied game again. And this time her serve does not make the top of the net. It is going to hit the bottom, and around we go. She comes off, and in comes Cleveland, as she is playing for a middle hitter position. Now recognize, she has to go back in the game. Hines cannot go back into the game until there's actual substitution, just so that you realize that. Ball is set up. Towanda free balls it over. Cleveland passes the ball to Servatius for the middle. A rolling shot, but Towanda is protected right around that. Outside set. It is roll shotted. That was a really poor English. Sorry, Mr. Sayers. My high school English teacher. It was a roll shot by Starkweather that would be deemed a kill because she found the seam between the players. A seam is like where it falls between two players. So we have rotation here. Owlett's back in. Bordas is back to serve. High pass by Towanda, setting it up to number 6. Nimmo. Bordas goes back to serve again as Wellsboro takes the lead. Maynard passed that and got that set up. Bordas is going to take the beginning, and so it's tipped over. It is a middle hit by number 25, Schoonover, and it goes just long. Wellsboro's ball, 16-14. Deep ball to number 5. Outside to Nimmo, blocked by Logston. Roll shot over Logston. Bordas goes to set to Logston, but Schoonover is waiting for her. Even though there was an attempt to protect that hitter, it does find the floor. So Addison Maynard comes in to serve. 1-point ball game. Emma Owlett takes that. You have a roll shot. Bordas keeps her foot on the floor as she pokes it over. Cleveland shuffles forward. Outside. Ooh, my. That was almost a double contact. Set by Towanda. Starkweather handles the first set. Owlett is ready. Logston digs it up off the block. You have a roll shot by Owlett. Towanda handles it free down the line. Cleveland calls off Bordas. It goes high. Owlett calls it, but it hits the heel of her hand and does not make the tape. Tied game again. Bree Smith passes to Bordas. Hard cross by Emma Owlett. Tip deep by number 15. Bree Overpeck, and she finds the hole as our setter Bordas had to draw up and do protection, so it causes the hole on the floor. Maynard served down the line. Wellsboro handles it. It goes down to Wellsboro, but it is just long. And that was the right call, proper call. 18-16 Towanda. Serve to Bree Smith. Back set by Bordas. Tip down the line. Scramble by Towanda. It is free balled over. Smith goes to take it. There is a call for help since Bordas can't get there, but it does not catch the tape. Timeout by Coach Zahusky. Okay, you feel the swing in the gym that Towanda has a little bit of a control going right now. As I told you before, there's some new terminology here that I've learned looking at this. I've never heard some of these, such as the pineapple, which is an attack on the second contact by the setter of a team, usually with the right hand, designed to land in the deep corner of the court, often done without looking at the target for deception. It was made famous by USA setter Loy Ball when playing in college. He would be able to turn his hand. I do remember him playing. He would turn his hand, and it was a very sweet, sweet play. Back to gameplay. Number 30 serves deep. Bree Smith passes perfect to Bordas. Logston's ready. She hits it straight down, but number 8 digs it. Logston is ready for that overpass, and this time she makes sure she finds the floor. Rotation for Wellsboro, and they are now back in the game. Starkweather serves deep. to the middle. Towanda is just off the net, but it is a nice cross court by number 5. Oh my goodness. Logston goes up for it, tries to tip, but recognized she was out of position. So in order to avoid the carry, it goes over, and it is hammered down by Towanda. They were ready. 17-20. Deep twisting ball. Cleveland passes that up. It is outside. Cross court by Brownlee. Middle hit dug by Starkweather. Tip by Logston. Middle hit again. This time she goes to the corner. It hit the floor, and therefore it is Towanda's ball. Yeah, it was in. That was in. That was in by number 21. Shea Greenland serves deep. Oh, Bordas has a little too much muscle that time. That's the adrenaline rushing here as the score is 17-22, and it goes way outside. Coming into the game is Isabel Anderegg, who is coming in for Bordas. Some of this is just an attempt to break a serve receive, and some of it's to give Bordas a little bit of a break. Playing setter is stressful. Cleveland passes up the ball. Anderegg sets it. Emma Owlett takes it over. It is an overpass. Brownlee is ready. She pokes it. The second hit is deemed a carry. First hit was fine. Second hit was deemed a carry as she stuck her hand up there and it kind of perched for a little bit. Came off a little weird. Logston serve, drive to the middle back. You're going to have good communication. Starkweather shuffles into position. Outside hit by Owlett, who gets under the ball, and it goes long. Cleveland back in for Logston, while at the same time, the same substitution of Winter Saxer in for number 8, Madeline Maynard, occurs. Nimmo's serve goes short down the middle. Again, this is the same server that Wellsboro had trouble with last time, and here it is at set point to Towanda. Another short serve to the back middle. This time Cleveland's ready. There is a tip by Owlett. It is handled by Towanda. Free ball over. Starkweather calls it. Anderegg goes to set it. Owlett hits it, but it's off the block and results in a point to Towanda. And so the tide had turned. It is now 2-2. They'll have a captain meet with the down official on the other side. And they will do a coin toss to see who actually gets the serve. As they just said, you could see both hands pointing. It means that we are not changing sides. So therefore, they got to call heads or tails. And it looks like Wellsboro won the serve. And so therefore, you're going to see Wellsboro serving first here. Now this fifth set, it's the first fifth set we have seen. However, I know Wellsboro did a fifth setter, I believe, with CV this year. And that resulted in a victory for them. I don't know if they've had any others, but I do know that one was. Coach Zahusky seems to be kind of giving them some discussion on settling down and what their roles are and making sure they're getting some water. In the meantime, this fifth set, you will have each team, they'll still have the 2 timeouts. It is still win by 2, but this time it is only a set to 15 points. Every point, of course, being a point is valuable, and this 15 points goes rather quickly. I do know I always look forward to playing Towanda. This has been a long-time rivalry, and you never count either team out at any given time. So. you have the small Wellsboro crowd standing and the first serve. The referee is talking with them about something. I don't know what exactly they're talking about, but I think they're talking about what is permitted and what is not permitted. So they're standing. I guess they're permitted to stand, but they've been, I don't know. I don't know what that was. So referee though did talk about what they're allowed to do. So it is first pass over is a free ball. Discussion. I see that we have had a libero change in shirt here. Free ball by Towanda. Good attempt by number 5 as she hustled to the seats. You're allowed to play over the seats, but once it crosses the seats, then it becomes out of bounds. And so it was a nice attempt by Manchester. She's had a nice game this evening. Bordes' serve, again, deep to Manchester. Set by Towanda down the line by number 6. Bordes goes to take it, but I think questions at the last minute that Smith is now back in the game as libero and lets it go. So it is 1-1. Addison Maynard back to serve. Low drive. Smith calls the ball. Bordes sets outside. Outlet down the center. Oh, my goodness. That was like the perfect set for her because you could see the timing completely as she did her approach and she went up and down on top. In for Cleveland, you have Brownlee. Starkweather's serve floats to the left back. Manchester goes up. And she attempts to go to spike the ball at the last second, changes her mind, and half rolls it, half tips it, and it's called for a carry. They don't actually call it carry anymore. They call it 2 hits, but it's the same idea. So there is a pass. There is a push. Emma Allett adjusts quickly. All of them are calling for a position. Logston goes up, and I think from the look on her face, it may have been a mishit, but it was properly placed as it landed amongst several different players, and so there's a look. Nice serve again by Starkweather. It is passed high outside down the line. Bordes is out. Starkweather steps up, sets Owlett, who goes deep cross. Asmalova is able to handle it. Wellsboro puts it up. Nice set outside. This time, again, Ismailova digs Emma Owlett's cross court. Starkweather calls it. Bordes heads back to Owlett. Owlett goes down the line. Ismailova gets there. It is then passed up and free-balled, and it is taken to the line by Smith. When she puts her foot there, she says it is out, and Emma Owlett yells as well to make sure they know. Yep. You only have 10 seconds or 5 seconds. 5 seconds must be to serve. And if you don't toss the ball up and let it drop, then your time keeps going. So when she bounced it off her foot, her time kept going. And therefore, she went through her whole routine, and it results in a point to the other team. So it is now 5-2-3. Wellsboro still. Starkweather's pass to Bordes, outside to Brownlee, and that is where I'm talking about. You have to protect your hitters, and you had one to the side, but just a little too much to the side, and so the ball finds the floor off the block. 5-4. Smith passes the ball up, assisted by Starkweather. Free ball over by Owlett. Brownlee heads over. You see her doing her shift. Bree Smith goes to get the ball, but just off her hands. It is now a tied ball game. Starkweather goes to pass there, helped by Brownlee. Logston goes to hit it, but it's in her thumbs. It is a carry, so therefore it is 6-5, and Coach Zahusky is going to call a timeout. Yeah, I don't believe they call a a carry anymore, and they just have them all called double hits. We used to call that a lift, but it is still an illegal play. It got just really seriously quiet in here as both crowds are very quiet as they watch what's going on. Not a whole lot of discussion going on. So now, if you ever wonder who's at the table down there, we have our scorekeeper, who is the timekeeper. Then you have your official book, which is usually the home book. And then you'll have what you call the libero tracker. And it's the person who has to keep track of the numbers of who the libero is in and out and the service order for the libero. Finally, then you usually have the opponent's book on the very end. Back to gameplay. It goes long. Smith takes that. Starkweather helps. Hustle by Logston. It ends up just going outside the referee's stand. Now the noise is back up as Towanda's super psyched. It is 7-5 Towanda. Number 21 goes to serve. Starkweather passes that high to Bordas. Emma Owlett hits it down the middle, but is handled. It is an overpass. Logston goes up. A joust at the net by number 5, and Logston, number 22 for Wellsboro, and Wellsboro wins that joust. Coming in for the libero is Olivia Chilson. Serves a little low, but Logston handles it. Tip ball. Starkweather passes to Bordas. It's a tight set. And because it was a tight set, Towanda tips it back over. It goes off the hands of the net and just out of the reach of the defense. Winter Sacks are back in the game for Addison Maynard. Oh, my goodness. And Nimmo misses her first serve all evening. If you recall, Nimmo was kind of the game changer in set number 3 and had a flurry of at least 14 points in a row in her service game. It was an incredible set of service. Olivia Servatius back to serve with Lexi Urena coming in the front row. Deep lefty, forcing Nimmo back. It is going to be a tip shot by number 26. Starkweather's ready. Handled, set by Servatius to the middle hitter, Olivia Chilson, but it hits the net. Substitution by Towanda as Gracie Schoonover, who's also had a nice evening here this evening, comes back into the game. Manchester serves to the back middle, right between the seam. Wellsboro is able to bring it back up. Coming up to the net is Nimmo. They set up Schoonover, and although it touches the block, it falls in front of the block. Point to Towanda. Back into the game is Grace Hines, giving Chilson a break there. Manchester serve is deep to the back corner. They yell out, and as a result of the out, oh my goodness, the linesperson was not paying attention, so the referee has to make the call, and they determined that it was in when it was in fact, I think, out. I don't know. That's why lines people are so important. Number 5, it goes off the shoulder of Starkweather. Again, anything goes on that first hit, and so it is played. Outside set, off the block. Hines goes back up, hits it down. Smith sets it up. Free ball by Brownlee. It is a middle hit, tip low, dug by Brownlee, dug by Starkweather, but it goes outside the antenna. 12-7 Towanda's favor right now. Time out by Coach Zahusky. All right. My goodness. All right. So, anyhow, as we go through this evening, taking a look, I'll have to watch the game later to see some of these calls just because I'm trying to watch everything, and I have not been able to keep up as the speed of the game has been kind of fast this evening. So, Towanda yells finish coming out of the huddle. Wellsboro looks a little more calm. And so you have Bree Smith talking to the teammates, and serve is coming up from Manchester. Rolling shot, pass to Servatius down the middle by Hines, played by Towanda. Free ball. Smith is back ready. Servatius goes to hit again. Middle hit, high hit this time, shorter. And Towanda goes to use it. Just free balled over. Servatius out. Urena is ready. Set outside. Brownlee slams that ball, but dug by Manchester. Tip by Schoonover. Just outside of the hands of Servatius, who tries to get there, and it is point to Towanda. Rolling shot to the back middle, overpass by Starkweather. It is an outside set to Schoonover, who slams it down, dug by Starkweather. Free ball by Brownlee to the back right because the shift had occurred. Good spot. Free ball at the same position. Wellsboro had not moved. This time you have Brownlee, who pushes the ball to that middle campfire. Deep to Smith. Servatius sets to the middle. Hines goes with the tip, but it is blocked by number 26, Winter Saxer. It is match point to Towanda. Low serve to Lexi Urena, who handles it. Set goes up. It is an overpass. Urena walks the line, holds her spot, and is able to get the tip over. Point to Wellsboro. So it is do or die time. Let's see how Brownlee does here, as it is 8-14. They're going to have to play their hearts out right now. Low float. Handled by number 15 outside to Schoonover, who goes free ball. She mishits it, and it goes off the side of her arm. And she says, my bad, sorry. I can't believe I just did that. That's actually what she just said. Brownlee serve. Deep to the back middle. Set. This time 21 keeps her hand down. Says that it is a double hit as she attempts to tip it over, but gets herself off center, and so it creates a double hit. It is 10-14, and all of a sudden the Wellsboro girls have come to life, and you're going to see if they're going to fight it out here right to the very end. Timeout by Towanda. These games bring back so many memories and make me nervous still, but I also love this sport so much. Brownlee serve. Nice float, middle back. Setter passes it up. Manchester just goes up with it. Hines plays it outside. Starkweather goes free down the line. Middle set to number 26, who roll shots it. Bree Smith's ready. Starkweather goes to the middle hitter. Roll shot by Hines. Tip shot by Brownlee. Brownlee to Starkweather. Nice serve or set to Starkweather, who hits the floor and puts it just inside the three-point line there. 11-14. This time she goes to the right back. Anything goes. Servatius handles it. Urena short set. Handled by Starkweather. Set up outside by Schoonover. Touch. Dug by Smith. Outside to Starkweather, who hits it. Dug by Manchester. Free ball by Saxer. Handled by Servatius, who sets up Starkweather. Hines sets up Starkweather and gets the kill. Into the game comes Ismailova for number 6, Nimmo. Brownlee goes to serve. And she serves again deep. Nice at float. And there's a scramble, and it goes out of bounds. Score is 13-14. Time out by Towanda. Good heavens. This is a great game. Nerve-wracking. Both teams want to win, but you've got to play to win. Oh my goodness. I keep steaming up my glasses and it's very hard to see what is going on. Joys of wearing a mask. Want to give a shout out to our tennis team. I had the opportunity to go and watch them play the other night. Young team, and very enjoyable to watch them play. Great group of young ladies. If you have a chance to get downtown sometime and see them play, do so soon. Season's about over. We're back to game play. Brownlee serve, low float. Oh my goodness, that was an amazing serve. Free ball, Servatius is out. Uranus steps up, middle hit, roll shot. They take out the setter. It is a free ball. Smith yells it's hers. Servatius goes to set. Starkweather goes to hit. It hits the top of the tape, giving giving Towanda the victory. Man, whew. So close there as Wellsboro battled back from that hole that they had been in, and it was hard loss, but it was also something that hopefully they learned some stuff from that tonight. So I see Coach Z kind of talking to them, and in doing so, hopefully when they come back, they'll be able to bounce back on Thursday when we are there. So we are back with you on Thursday, and we look forward. We thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was a tough loss for Wellsboro, but a 5-setter that was very, very enjoyable to be able to announce. So without further ado, I thank the gentlemen in our press box for watching and for doing the camera and all that other stuff. And we say thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll see you on Thursday. Good night.